who, unfortunately for him, being a father is politicized, and that's just a fact he has to deal with. The unfortunate fact of the matter is that if he wants to be a good father, he's which I guess he's doing now. He has to deal with some blowback, and I mean, I've had plenty of friends who have had addiction issues. I definitely get where people are coming from with yeah, it's insulting to but I mean, if anything, like he was saying before, if Donald Trump's children were to have been caught doing anything like that, a lot of them have. His family have been caught up in what accountability have they faced? So I I think it just really speaks to our the general rule of law and that even for the rich and powerful it's disbalanced.
I'm waiting for Trump to tweet about Edison. Everybody else in his cabinet tweeted. The Borders are tweeted. Ted Cruz tweeted. All these.
Would it really surprise you though if he's doing this thing right now, or if the one time in his life he just goes, I'm just going to let this one sit on its own. I'm not saying I expect it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he said, I'm just going to let this one speak to its own. It's, I don't know. It's there's a lot of conflicting factors for me. I'll tell you what though, not to change the subject too quickly. I'm focused on South Korea. You've been watching that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, that absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. I just feel like they didn't really plan for that martial law declaration. He just kind of did it. Because I heard that, like, right after that, there wasn't really immediate military or police presence. Traffic was continuing on the streets, and now it's been overturned. So, distractions, political distractions, I guess, or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
Did you see the one thing that really caught my eye? And I think it's more just because of the nature of what it is and the fact that it's in our backyard. You see those drone reports in New Jersey?
Yeah. What's that all about?
So I've been talking to my brother was in the military in the Marines for a little bit. I was talking to him about this, but also just doing my own little looks on this. So as anyone's probably heard, they're car-sized drones, and they're not confirmed to be car-sized, but by the looks of it, these are not, your hobbyist drones that you're seeing in the sky. And they're appearing over Morris and Somerset County in the night. Now, we all know that there's a military base in that range. Trump's golf course is within that range. Um, they're not confirmed drones, but that's what the suspicion is. They could be UAPs. We don't know. It's really interesting, though, I guess to say the least, other than, disturbing and other things, that these are all gathering in such pivotal areas. It's I don't know. I'd say it's an interesting time, interesting news cycle right now, but that's just been these past couple of years.
Yeah, those drones have been around for a long time, and people thought they were UFOs, and it's probably just military experiments.
We actually confirmed at a recent congressional hearing that we have recovered remains. So I think here's my opinion here. The only win of this election here is that we have someone, in my opinion, is that we actually have someone at the forefront right now who's pushing on a congressional level for answers to these UAP things. I don't like a lot of what Tim Burchett stands for, but God, if he doesn't push for answers to those things in the sky, and that is the one thing I will ultimately chant him for. He is I'm the only one I see within the congressional community that's actually not passively talking about UAPs, which I think is really cool. But yeah, it's a topic discussed. Definitely something. I mean, think about it. Did you watch Star Trek?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so
there's a million of Star Treks now.
Right, but so you're familiar with the origin of how Earth made its first contact?
Was that the wait, Voyager? Or no?
I think so, yes, Voyager. That was the one with the terrible intro, right? The one where they go, like, it opens up and they're like, "It's been a long road." Oh my god, that one was terrible. But, no, they proposed in that show in Star Trek that we don't make our first contact with extraterrestrial life until we discover warp travel. The theory being we're not a threat to them if we can't reach them. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if we're playing a similar game here. Um, I would theorize that we probably make our first contact when that happens, or I would hope before we go on the brink of nuclear destruction. But aliens, we thought it was just going to be, they'd land on a sunny field while we're all enjoying a nice summer evening, and we make our first contact. No, it's going to be amidst a bunch of nonsense.
Hey, you land on my lawn, you're mowing it, buddy.
I think the most brilliant take, I think, and I don't even know if it was directly extraterrestrials they were really referring to, but I have to believe it was. You ever watch that South Park episode on early immigration?
Don't think so.
So it was back in the Bush era when immigration was an issue, and the episode was that they'd have people from the future traveling back in time to come find work in the past, and it created a whole similar. I thought that was one of the most brilliant takes on a first encounter or alien life thing ever. To no surprise. I mean, if anyone's going to do that with any concept at all, it's South Park. That's just they will walk the line so brilliantly that they can't be blamed. I mean, they went through the Trump presidency just having Trump be Mr. Garrison, and we all know who Mr. Garrison is. But all that aside, we could talk about the flying things in the sky, the things going on outside the country. But we just had a holiday past. How was your holiday?
It was great. At 4:30, we have Councilman Brescher calling in. He's the one that is against this ordinance. He has always been against this ordinance. He's always been against pretty much everything the council president wants to do, because the council president is clueless on how to run a town. And Brescher is going to run against him, against the mayor as well. I just had something sent to me. Breaking news here. Breaking news. They just sent me an apology from the mayor. This is great. Listen to this.
Ooh.
This is from Mayor Joshi. Our nation's flag has never, ever been banned, nor will it ever be banned in our municipal complex or any government building that we solely operate. We are proud Americans who believe in principles, morals, and values that the American flag represents. I have spoken to the council president regarding this matter, and he has humbly apologized and issued his official statement for the confusion surrounding the recently passed decorum ordinance. Backpedaling, let's back it up, 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 back it up. Woo!
I hope this pipe I pulled out has matched the colonial vibe you were setting. That was goddamn it. I heretofore declare a open apology to the Sativa Forum for a massive disrespect of the criticism of the lack of declaration of our flag. I hope we can find common ground in the future.
Here's the council president. First, allow me to apologize to my council colleagues and all the residents of Edison and our great state for the confusion surrounding our decorum ordinance that was recently passed. Let me be very clear. The Edison Council has never, and will ever ban the American flag from public meetings. Our nation's flag, as well as our state's flag, are both prominently and honorably displayed in the council chamber. We proudly and humbly begin each council meeting with the pledge of allegiance to our flag, reaffirming our commitment and loyalty to the country and history and values upon which it stands. It was never's in bold letters, never, ever the intent of the council to ban the American flag. In fact, nowhere in the ordinance is there even a reference to our nation's flag being banned. If any of my remarks during the previous council meeting implied that, I apologize. We are all proud Americans and respect the history, morals, and principles of our great nation. Our decorum ordinance that was passed was intended to prevent the chronic and chaotic disturbances that have found their way into our council chamber, which at times prevent us from doing an important business to the township. Our residents deserve undivided attention as we attempt to deal with challenges we face together. And once again, I apologize.
Say apology again. It'll probably mean less. Hi Jim, how you doing? Hope you had a good holiday.
Yeah, you too.
The colonial tone and too much. So was this about what you posted the other day about the flag being removed? What was that all about?
Yes, you can't have a prop in your hand when you speak at the podium, and that prop includes the American flag, the Bible, the Constitution, the Quran.
Extremists ruin everything.
But having it in your hand and displaying it, they've already drawn sort of a dividing line by they had a shape when it was raised. It became
you can have it
prop.
standing behind you, but you can't hold it.
I mean, could you wear it like a giant lapel pin?
Right.
Right. That you could take off. I mean, see, the thing that they're running into problems with is dividing lines. They're murky. It's not actually a line. It's a basically, if everybody wrote their idea where a dividing line is and they were all interlaid over each other, there'd be a common swath, like a spaghetti mold for a freaking hurricane. It's not just a line. So they're always going to be on the wrong side of a straight line almost always. And I find that interesting that they don't get that. It's sort of like the idea of holding up a flag while you talk shouldn't be distracting. I mean, not really. So it comes down to the nuances and the tone, which they can't win on because people can just dance a little further this way then. And that shit annoys them.
I think the base, if I had to guess though, like I was saying, extremists ruin everything. And I think the basis of it is not the fact that really based on the prop behind, I guess, the reasons why it's been banned like that in the past. For example, extremist groups taking religious extremists taking the Bible and really just gesturing it in a very, very violent way while issuing violent rhetoric.
And sometimes upside down Bible.
Exactly, upside down.
Yeah.
You can use your imagination with how white supremacists and other people like that would use it. People of Middle Eastern extremism.
Can you turn your TV down, Jim? Hold on, guys. Can you just turn your TV down, Jim, please? It's loud. Sorry.
So, I mean, we can all use our imagination. I think it's really that thing back in school of one kid really ruins it for everyone. And between the colonialness and all of that, it reminds me. Have you ever watched The Whitest Kids You Know, War on Drugs?
What is it? Which one?
The Whitest Kids You Know movie, The War on Drugs.
No.
Oh my God, go watch it. Okay, so The Whitest Kids You Know were early 2000s Comedy Central skit group or Mad TV or something like that. They did a movie based in the era of the Civil War, right when it was breaking out, the whole thing. And it starts with two white colonial kids befriending a slave and discovering weed. So they get high, and then, in traditional stoner fashion, they drape the American flag like a tie-dye shirt. And this was right around the time when the Civil War was breaking out. So they're like, oh, that flag is illegal, but they're wearing it. So they're like, and they're smoking weed. And they're like, oh, you mean this stuff? And then they lead to believe the whole thing is about marijuana. And at the end, there's this wonderful breakup where they meet with Abe Lincoln, and he says to them, Mr. President, we'd love it if you please make the weed stuff legal again. He just looks at them like,
That's great.
it's about slavery. It's always going to be legal. It's never not. It's a very sobering, cringe moment. It's very definitely go give it a watch.
Special guest with us now, who's on a time crunch. Richard Bressler, Councilman Bressler, how are you, sir? Great to see you.
I'm doing well. Thank you.
It's been a crazy couple of days, huh?
Yes, I'll tell you, I was. It's a little shocking, right? I mean, I'm a little older, so when people talk about viral, right, I'm going back to COVID or something. But I woke up to be told that this is going viral here. It's nice to see, though, that it's just not Edison, right? This is like our country that's being awoken here in Edison, and it's just not the flag issue. You're aware of a lot of the other issues that we do have here in Edison that gone on with this mayor and his 4 council people. But it's been great. I will tell you, some activists have come to our meetings. People might hear, I don't know if they know Christo on Jersey Watcher, but he's done an actual, an excellent job of making sure that people understand the U.S. Constitution and your rights here in the United States. And he's now gotten support, from other groups, and the world's becoming aware of what's going on. So in a way, it's a good thing. It does bring a bad light on Edison itself. I understand that, but sometimes a little bit of pain goes a long way and makes things a lot better in the long run. So I hope this is where we're headed.
And I honestly don't think you're alone. I mean, I'm admittedly am not very familiar with the political struggles that Edison deals with, but I can say nationwide there are a lot of towns that are dealing with, let's just say, actors that run the show that play by their own rules. And you are not alone. There are so many people that are standing up and holding true to these core values that we find to keep a working, functioning government going. And I fully support you. It's awesome that you guys are making this front and center.
I got to say, I really appreciate, that it's not all about the flag or all about the Constitution, all about that, but those open the door. And what I like about social media, even Facebook at times, is if I wanted to say, I told you so to somebody, I got replays, And the first time I heard about the Constitution and the flag, I said, hey, why don't you just kick a few babies and disrespect some veterans while you're at it? I mean, you got 2 out of 4 third rails right there, And it was like, holy crap, it's the dividing line. You blew it. And you need to reel it back. Now, I read what Lefty, I heard what Lefty was reading when I joined.
The mayor had a retraction, and the council president had a retraction. So is the flag allowed now? Can we hold the flag or no?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. So I'll put it to you like this. Everybody now has read this retraction, right? The problem is everybody's seen the video. Mm-hmm. So it's not that it was a mistake. This was intentional. You know what I mean? But because of the negative press, because the mayor and his 4 council people right now feel that they are unelectable come next year, right? Now they're taking a back step. It goes back to our mayor took 4 police officers to the DNC on a political vacation and charged it to the taxpayers, right? I exposed this and he pays it back. Where in any state can a mayor or even a resident, where can you rob a bank and as you walk out, the cop catches you and you go, here's the money back and you're not charged? You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of crazy with the stuff that he gets away with here.
And it's totally understandable. Now, I was just discussing this before, and like with any issue, I'd like to make sure I play at least devil's advocate, make it seem like I'm looking at it from both sides here. So I'd like to ask you if you think that the worst actors of the past have maybe been an influence of the fact that now there's no props allowed, including the American flag.
Yeah, was that our fault? Did we do that?
No, well, I'm not even saying our fault. I'm saying, like I was saying to him before, that you can use your imagination with white extremist groups, Middle Eastern extremists, any kind of extremist holding a prop that's going to lead down a bad road. So is it the old adage that one kid ruins it for everyone?
You know, I'm going to tell you what, he has a hubris to him. And him being challenged and his people being challenged is what made him go down this road. With the previous mayor, when he was a councilman, we never had these issues, but he became mayor and he believes that he is the Lord over all of Edison. And you know what? I hate to tell him, but this is the United States. And I'll tell you what, I think the people are done with you. I think I think we're getting rid of him. And he's fearful of that now. That's why he's doing this backtrack. It started, like I said, Jersey Watcher came. He was trying to show, his First Amendment. I believe that the mayor had our police department target Jersey Watcher. I told him I'd go to court and testify to that effect. But it's all about shutting down the people. You guys probably don't realize, but our meetings get filmed. Up until about 2 meetings ago, if I spoke, my picture was on the camera like it is now. What they do now is they pan to the entire council, so you don't even know who's talking. This is all about covering stuff up, no transparency. Our Oprah laws were repealed, basically. And it just fits with his narrative of, what I can get out to the media. And this way I'll get myself reelected and no one's going to pay attention to the date rape report or the pay to play or any of the other things that he's done. But, it's good people that have been coming to the meeting and pushing for this openness. And to me, this is a good thing, not just for Edison, but for the country. I hope other towns don't decide to go down the same road.
I would hope not. As I said, you can look around the nation right now. There's a lot of shows of small towns, big towns where either like I think it's one town, either mayor Arizona or Georgia, where they're literally battling with the mayor right now to be like through a bunch of parties and things like. So there's overreach happening all over the place. And like I said, I think it's really just, or the dead message popped up. I think it's really just hats off to people like you who are willing to, again, call out the stuff, the hypocrisy that's going on, the guiding of what they see and what they're not going to say. So hats off to you. Continue the fight. It's necessary right now, and I think it's something that we're going to deal with the current incoming administration that we're going to have to fight against a lot.
The question is here, was there any end results of the date rape police report? Because all I have is the police report. I have nothing else.
So I'll tell you this, and we have a woman running for governor here. She's a Navy fighter pilot, right? If you're going to look at a resume, it does seem impressive. But I just did an article for the Edison Reporter because he asked me about it. And I said, you have this woman, and she's here, running for governor. Let me just shut this guy off here. The lady's running for governor. She calls out Donald Trump on one of his appointments because the guy was, he raped a woman 10 years ago or something like that.
Pete Hegseth?
What was that?
Pete Hegseth?
I think it was. He just resigned from that, whatever it was. He stepped away.
Gates.
Yes, that's it. Right. So
Great.
I think she called him out publicly, right? Because she's running for governor, right? And it sounds good. It's a good soundbite. I get it. But then she's in pictures with Sam Joshi at the Diwali festival like a month ago. So you're going to call a Republican out, but when a Democrat does the same wrongdoing, right, you don't say anything about it, and it's like the same circumstance. So it's the hypocrisy that needs to be pointed out. And I think if that happens, I think good people will remain good people. Otherwise, people like her end up, being tarnished, by her association with people like that. A woman came to my home. She told me her story. I called two people I know that are police officers. They told me it was a classic date rape. I reported it to the attorney general. They called her. They went to investigate it. They wanted to know if she had any camera footage. There's no camera footage for something like that. So they haven't prosecuted him. They did acknowledge that an incident definitely happened. Um, and I just hope that the woman one day is strong enough where she is no longer a victim, but I'm going to say that she's a survivor, and when she gets to that point, I'm sure she's going to come out and she's going to tell her story to everybody.
It's a fight. It's a fight. When you have literally in the mentality of your mind that the mechanism of law enforcement where you live is not on your side. And I can tell you right now, while the sexual assault issues are very real and very much a problem, New Jersey swipes all sorts of things. It is very common for swiping this stuff under the rug. I can tell you a couple years ago, I was the victim of a wrongful imprisonment, and I saw there's no record of that. There's no right to it. Like there's nothing made right of that. A lot of my rights were violated, and they don't make it feel like it's the whole environment doesn't make it feel like it's approachable for you to get justice. It's just, we made a mistake. Oh, well, move on with your life. And like you said, I hope that woman finds the strength down the road to do what she needs to do to keep going with her life.
I'm not sure I trust a police chief who doesn't respect the Constitution or the First Amendment.
No, me neither.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you. I've known the chief for quite some time. And to my own fault and detriment, I believe people. I believe you until you lie. At my council meeting, after the camera was turned off, he made a statement and he yelled out, he says, "You said you were going to run for mayor and you were going to get rid of me." At that point, I lost him, all right, because that was a lie. In fact, I wrote to the attorney general. I told the attorney general what happened and that I believe there was theft of time with the mayor taking police officers to the DNC, where you have Secret Service and you got a big law enforcement present there. And I said the chief, came to me and he lied about me. I'm asking you to secure any camera footage that will show that I haven't been in his office in like a year or something. So, I do make records of this. I do make copies of it. I take screenshots of everything I'm doing. Because what I do see is things get covered up. Our chief, somebody told me, has to retire in February, and I'll be honest with you, I think that would be a good thing at this point. I believe that he has weaponized our police department against residents. It's just wrong. And for the chief to follow those orders, I've kind of lost faith, to be honest with you, in my chief.
And it's the hypocrisy and brazenness that exists in our culture right now is really astounding, not just within the nature of it and within the acts, but in the fact of the knowledge that we all know we all have cameras in our pockets. We're a lot of the times we're being recorded and we don't know it. And it shows that when they're confronted with, well, you said this, and they have no explanation, you're only left with, okay, so you just spoke out of raw emotion. You let your emotions get the best of you, and you couldn't stop for a moment and think. And it really reveals a lot about their nature altogether.
Oh, when you watch the council meeting, if you watch it and you follow Robert's rules of, decorum, when a speaker is speaking, when I'm speaking, you don't have a right to interject and interrupt. But the chief kept on over speaking. And when I was going, Council President, he's like, Councilman, you got to control yourself. And I'm sitting there going, you're the one that lost control. You've been doing this for 20 years and you don't know that you can't talk over someone. But he couldn't even respect the rules of the decorum of the council, and council president couldn't even control him with it. So he turned that meeting into chaos. And I have to say something. Like, I have seen a lot of comments about our police officers. And I know Christo, I disagree with him on this also, where he'll talk about our officers. Our officers, I really believe, are some of the best I've met. They do care about our residents. The problem I see is that they're in a paramilitary organization, is what I'm told, which means they might not agree with what they're ordered to do, but they're ordered to do it, and they will be fired if they don't. So, the place that our mayor and our chief is putting, our men in is really appalling. I would like to see the PBA stand up and denounce the two of them, for putting the membership in there. But you don't normally hear fighting back and forth within the police department. But our policemen shouldn't be chastised for basically following orders. It's holding the people accountable that made the orders.
It's
You can't follow illegal orders.
No, you can't. And as I said before, I'm one to chiefly look at both sides of an argument. And while I am, aware of the ill behavior that is performed by the New Jersey police officers, i.e., the let's just put it, ill-educated response to mental health crises being one example. I also recognize the fact that this is their job and that they have to juggle keeping themselves alive, keeping their team members alive, keeping citizens alive, keeping their equipment not from getting harmed, that they have a firearm on them. They're juggling a lot of things, and they're human beings at the end of the day. We have to remember. So there are a lot of times where I look at it and I say at these issues that happen and say, it's human. Like you see a lot of around the country, school shooter police response go under scrutiny because of response time, and a lot of the time I'm thinking they're humans. Like, that's a terrifying situation. But
did we really need 4 policemen at the council meeting, though? I mean, I think usually one is good, right?
Not that council meeting. I don't unless you're really seeing an uptick in some sort of gang activity or something. But again, we're New Jersey here. I think in my opinion, we've tampered down quite a bit. I've always said if New Jersey does anything good, it's live somewhere where the weather doesn't constantly destroy us, and we keep the firearms in check pretty good.
Richard,
it always blows my mind when people say, well, why does New Jersey tax us so much? And lately I say that, and I kind of point in the direction of where Florida is right after their storm just happened. And I'm just like, that's why. If you take a magnifying glass and look all the way down there, that happens quite often. That's a good reason to why we get taxed. It's not fair, but it's true.
Richard, the thing that concerned me was that somebody on X put everybody's address on X. Did you see that? All your addresses are up there. I don't like that.
No, but I'll be honest with you. Council people will say that they've received threats. Yes, I'll be honest with you. Yes, I've received threats. I'm not fearful of the threats. I'm not going out buying extra guns or something to protect myself. My address is public. I've never went to hide from the public because I don't think I've done anything wrong to the public. I've only stood up to the public. Are councilmen fearful? I'm sure they are. But again, it goes to like where our mayor has 4 police officers that escort him to every event and every place he goes in the town. Okay. The question I need to ask is, what have you done that has garnered so much hatred that you actually need security? You can't be a really a great person, I would say, and have so many people that you need to have a 4-man police escort.
So
I don't have an escort.
my question would be: is in your opinion, do you think he does that as a show of force or out of his own fear and ignorance?
I think it's for him to have a show of force. And I'll tell you this: nobody has attacked our mayor. Okay, nobody has done anything like that. But let me ask you this: would you believe that there is a councilman in Edison that when he was first running and going against, the machine or whatever you'd like to call it, he wasn't in his home that day, and the mulch in front of his house spontaneously combusted and burned a hole through the side of his house, engulfing the basement? Because that councilman would be me, but I don't have security. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people go, they did it on purpose. I'm like, who's they and what was it? I don't believe in the spontaneous combustion thing. I mean, I do know it happens, but it was just funny that it was during an election, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I think, but I'm glad you brought that up because I'll trail into something else you said. But again, I think if anything, that's just really you were an unfortunate victim in a high climate situation. I'm glad you were okay. I'm glad your home was predominantly okay. But I would like to say, because you said this earlier, you're not fearful of the threats, and you're not buying a firearm. Let me say, sir, as a human being, there is a line between feeling fear and buying a firearm. You are absolutely allowed to feel fear. It is a human emotion. It's healthy and it keeps us alive. Um, you, I understand totally your stance as a public figure to not want to express that you're feeling fear. You can feel fear and still be ready to take on whoever's going to try to come for you. It's it's uh,
Well,
it's a human response, and I only say that because I have so many people around me, and I was once myself someone who repressed a lot of that and said, "I'm not this, I'm not that." No, if you do that, you're blocking out a lot of channels on your body, and it's something you gotta at least acknowledge. I'm
I,
just saying.
I'll tell you this. I'm not a young man anymore. Okay, so I'm not in the same shape or position that I was when I was younger. Um, but I worked in New York City before New York City was cleaned up. I worked in parts of Harlem that people wouldn't work in, Bronx, Brooklyn, and that was my whole career. So, when you say be fearful here in Edison because someone's mad at you or something, um, I I dealt with so much worse, in those settings in those years. That maybe I'm just naive now. Um, you know, but yeah, I still believe that we have a safe neighborhood. I think people in general are good people. I still do believe in the people to make the right decisions. Um, Naive, probably so. I'm going to probably die that way, but
No,
you
I
know,
can't. I honestly, I can't believe. I honestly was chuckling there inside for a little bit because I just heard you say I started out my career in the roughest parts of New York, but I may be a little bit naive. No, anyone who's grown up in the roughest like those parts of New York, they've got their wits about them. That's just
Yeah, you got
end of story.
What were you doing? Like, how did you get into politics from that? Is that how you started politics?
well, it was really pretty simple. I worked my whole life, right, like everybody else does. I got to a point where, financially, I was okay to retire. Okay, I'm not going to drive around in a Ferrari for the rest of my life or anything like that. I don't have that kind of money, but I had enough money that I could actually stop working. And I decided that I wanted to spend more time with my family and stuff, and stay here in New Jersey. And that's what I did. And then after about 3 years, I entered a school board race because I was upset with the overspending that was going on, and I got elected. Then worked with people in Trenton to fix the funding formula here that has now gotten Edison over $150 million in extra funding over the last 7 or 8 years. And then people pushed me to run for council, and I said, sure. And then they wanted me to run again. And I said, okay. And right now, people are asking me to run for mayor. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's the avenue I'm going to go next.
Yeah.
I support it. You definitely seem like you got a lot of fight in you and a lot of good to do left in your life.
Yes. When you become mayor, can you please allow public commenting on the official government pages, because some people are complaining that Joshi and Patel's letter, you can't comment on it. So the First Amendment really doesn't mean anything. It's like, wait a minute, you can't comment.
Now,
Yes, I have to tell you, there's quite a few things that they passed that should be repealed. We passed a law here, right? So as Democrats, we talk about affordability, right? And this is one of the biggest jokes we did. So we passed a inspection for apartments, and well, that sounds like a good thing, right? The apartments do get inspected by the state, okay? So it's not like they're not inspected. But we passed this law that said that the apartment owners are gonna have to pay $100 a year, but they're gonna have to have these like 8 or 9 people come in and inspect it. So the apartment owners are saying it's going to cost us hundreds of dollars to meet your inspectors, just to do this. Well, I just got calls from residents that are now complaining that their rent is going up $200 a month. Yes, that's because, us as Democrats here are making it more affordable for you, by including more fees. The landlords are only going to pass that along to the renters. I mean, it's common sense at the end of the day. So we have to.
then too. I mean, like, there's only, as someone who deals with that kind of system myself, there's only, you have to do so much advocating to get the actual living situation issues dealt with that these housing situations properties deal with, and it's a pain to say the least.
It is, and I'll tell you what, I've talked to some of the developers. They're not even in disagreement. What they're asking for is for no fees, so they don't have to pass the fees on. They're asking for the town to do inspections, but to come through at the end of a lease, between the person moving out and the person moving in. They'd like to have the township do that so they can make sure that they're up to standard at that time. Because in our law, it also says if they can't gain access, then the apartment guy gets fined. And
so, what I hear right there as someone who deals with that, when I hear they want to do it at the start of the end of the lease, what I hear is we want to do it when we've just cleaned the apartment. When we've just cleaned the apartment, when we've just sent maintenance in there to updo anything that the person who moved out has just done to the apartment, we want you to inspect it once we've cleaned it for the next tenant.
Cleaned it, repaired it. Yes. Not that they are giving you an apartment that is inferior on day one that you move in.
To make the fact that an inspection, like, you can agree to some degree, there is a merit to surprise inspection. There's a merit to not be able to routinely expect a date on when to be prepared for an inspection. So,
wait. I think I know where you're going, and I'll tell you this: if there's a problem in Edison, like you have water leaking out of a ceiling or something like that. My brother did this in Highland Park. In fact, they get a call, and the health department sends out the inspector then to see what violations are happening. Because I've heard of something where a resident called, the inspector went, and there was ice on the wall. So he's going, how could there be ice? Why don't you have heat on? Well, the landlord didn't fill the oil tank and was away in Florida. So with that, they were able to get a hold of the landlord. They put the residents up in a hotel until they can get the pipes fixed, get the oil filled up, and but that gets done through like our health department, not the building department.
Yeah, I've dealt with similar issues here. I live over in Old Bridge at the London Terrace developments, and very similar issues here. Washer and dryers often don't work. I even one time recently walked over there and I looked inside and I was like, oh, they're filled with water and trash. That's very unusual. So no, really, and you got to understand that a lot of people. I'm sure you do understand. A lot of people generally feel intimidated to come forth about these issues. They'll go walk to the laundromat. They'll go out of their way for these things because they are fearful of getting kicked out or some sort of retaliation. That I feel like that's a very real factor. But not to say that there aren't a couple people who aren't afraid of that and actually do speak out. But even then, it takes so much of riding these people's bottoms to just get them to do basic maintenance around the building property.
Oh no, I mean, I can see that. I know we had the one development up here that was, I'm going to say, falling into disrepair on the outward side, right? So I wasn't talking about the interiors, because that we didn't have complaints, but it was looking like an eyesore. And some of our council members went and approached the owner, and the owner went and came out with this whole new plan to kind of rejuvenate it. You know, unfortunately, after that, then we did get complaints about them raising the rent, because I think in Edison you're allowed to raise it 5% a year. They typically don't raise it to 5%. But when they did the investment thing, they told us they had to recoup their funds. So it kind of becomes difficult on both levels. You know, I think they're trying to just make sure they're fully rented, right? So they're getting their return. And like every business, they're trying to do it as cheaply as possible. You know, so you do need government oversight. That's 100% true.
Absolutely. Now, I'd like to just shift real quick because I was talking about this earlier, and I believe you're definitely within the area that this is going on in. Yeah, I assume you've heard about the large car-sized drones that have been spotted over the Somerset and Morris County area.
You know, I seen a quick headline. I did not read it, you know, or look at it. Like when somebody says there's a large drone, I have friends that fly drones. They have some that are, I think to me they're big. They might be 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah, they're being reported as car-sized.
I right. It said something to that effect, and you know, it goes back to when I was young. When I was like 16, we used to fly remote control airplanes down at the Kilmer Field, down by Edison.
Nice.
And you know, I had like a little plane, but my neighbor 2 doors down, he had a plane that was probably the size of a car. So right when I read the headlines about these large drones, I'm going, okay, that's somebody like me when I was, you know, when they were younger.
I think the delineation there is that on Edison Field, that large, yes, large, it can only go a certain degree. And when Johnny brought the large, big plane to the field, he wasn't then greeted by the FBI saying, "Hey, you're flying this within airspace." Like just to say, these are a very much of a different nature, and I think the fact that while we can't definitively say that they're definitely car size beyond the reporting, the size generally that they're being referred to is generally something that at least I would think is something specific to government, military, etc. Now, there is a military base nearby. My only dispute to that would be, why wouldn't they have told the FBI beforehand?
Yes, I'll be honest with you, that I don't know. Um, I've, when I was younger, they had a plane that came out. It turned out to be some kind of plane you can't track on radar. You've all seen them nowadays, but there were like hidden pictures of that came out over like a 10-year period, right? And then all of a sudden they come out that this is the new plane. It wasn't a new plane. It was a 10-year-old plane that the government was working on in secret, and nobody was supposed to know about until the day they launched it.
I absolutely get that. I remember during COVID, if you remember, I stayed down in Florida during right when New Jersey started the announcements. I got a very cheap flight ticket to go stay down with my best friend in Florida. And down during that time, they had the satellite announcement. I believe Elon Musk did a big satellite announcement, or I mean a launch. And while I wasn't aware of this, I heard about it, and the night prior, I had thought I still believe I did see a UAP. Now I went home to where I was staying with my best friend later and told her about it, and she didn't believe me. The heat of the moment, I just told her because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, guys, listen, I have to go. I got to get
Yeah.
ready for this event that I have here.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you guys very much for bringing light to this. You know what I mean?
Richard,
It really is helpful.
It's been excellent talking to you. It's been really cool talking to you. Keep fighting and bring light to this stuff, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
No, listen, thank you very much. All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
have a good day.
You too, man.
All right, bye bye.
All right,
Paco, I just realized I've seen you so
Councilman
many times
Richard
in
Wessler.
person.
What's going on, guys?
How we
What's
doing,
up,
buddy?
Paco? That was good stuff.
Yes, it was. It was.
He's a voice of reason on that crazy. Well, the only guy is Patel and Patil and the lady. What's the lady's name? She's nice.
Paco, is that one of those later day pods?
No, this is an Oxbar pod.
No, the other one you had. I thought there was another one, but yeah. Yeah, the top looked like the new later days pod, which avoid.
This is a new Oxbar.
They're made by the people who do Secret Orchard, and I always ragged on them. They're just not good. But how we doing, man? How was your holiday?
Not bad. Just another holiday. Got some food. The usual. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right. Get back into the swing of things. Just got back from spent the holiday down in Tampa. Have you guys ever been to a head shop in Florida before?
A long time ago.
It's a different game, I'll tell you. You go to a head shop here in Jersey, yeah, they got, and it definitely was also a different game back before COVID because, you had vapes more around and more discussed. But even then, like, you go to a vape shop in Jersey, you got your bongs, you got your vapes, you got your pipes, everything like that. That's fine. You have a shop in Florida, you got all that. But there's also, like, a different vibe to it. And, like, they like, here you go, they say, okay, we got Delta 9 and things like that. There they say, we can't sell weed, but we have weed. It's just, it's just crazy, like the experience going down to a smoke shop down there, and they always got the best stuff too, as far as like brands and just out there like pipes and shit.
Time to medicate
together. What?
I said Lefty's time to medicate for Lefty.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
My car's in the shop. I have no car, so I'm actually out in the cold smoking.
You gotta get yourself one of those like tiny little box space heaters. You bring outside with you. Stand right next to that.
You should have had one of those electric sweaters, Lefty. They literally have a battery and just turn it on and it keeps you warm. Warms your back.
Real talk, I just saw on Instagram, and I'll send you the link for this. There was this awesome speaker that you can get, and it's a speaker that's also a heater. It's like a little like this. It's a little. There's a little heat element in the middle here, and then the outside plays music. It's about like this big. Be perfect for you. But
So Lefty, maybe you'll run into some company while you're out back there standing without a car in that parking lot you're at.
Like a raccoon or
That's not funny.
Listen,
Here, let's go look around. Let's go look in the cars.
Nothing wrong with huddling to keep warm if two people are cold.
Okay, there's somebody in that car over here. There's somebody there. There's somebody in this car. All right, there's two people in that car. I'm going back. All right, I'm done.
I'll say this too. Walking around at night in New Jersey is infinitely more. You feel infinitely more safe than walking around anywhere in Florida at night. I went to a dispensary with my best friend and her wife while I was there. We pulled up at Rise. She goes in, and then this van pulls up that says Jesus is coming on the side of it, and it's a whole different clientele down there.
Yeah, they've probably heard Jesus coming in that parking lot more than a few times. Jesus coming.
I mean, and I guess like it's also just a more eerie element. Like you're driving by, there's a lot of like highway structure and like mall shopping area and stuff like that. So like you'll see like this big open parking lot, and it's dark at night, and it's like moderately warm outside, and it's like, oh, there's a daycare, and it's in this middle of this dark parking lot, and it's still open, and all you see is concrete. That makes you feel terrible.
Yeah, I think the communal parking lot that they share has a certain kind of clientele that at times you don't really want to turn your back on.
No,
literally.
That takes something from you, whether it be your wallet, your keys, or something more.
Well, something more. It's like more inside the pocket. It'd be below the. They want something else in your pants, not your money.
I got the innuendo.
Yeah, they'll even leave you with a little extra money if you're lucky.
Oh God.
Seriously, that's why Lefty beat it real quick. I didn't mean to but I would assume, Lefty, that in a situation like you're out without a car there, you would have brought the strongest thing you could think of smoking with you, so you could be in that parking lot in like 2 minutes with your back to the wall the whole time.
That or like a baseball bat.
I explained, man.
That might look like a toy to them of some sort.
Exactly, you catch him off guard.
I tried to explain to Bucket Man what happened here, and he was supposed to come here, and he's not coming here now because of that.
I love the nature of that. Where you say I tried to explain to him. I explained to him that it's near this like dirty adult store in a dark alley, and for some reason he wouldn't show up. It's crazy. He's nuts.
Why didn't you show up, Bucket Man? It's not like it's not safe.
You know what? Here's the interesting thing. I might show up now, and I'll tell you this. So, no. You're gonna love this story. Right after the election, I made a purchase. I bought a new walking stick, and I low key vowed to myself that if it does get really bad out there, I'm just gonna become a vigilante. So,
if you can't beat him, join him.
I feel a little more protected now.
If you can't beat him, join him and beat him. Get it?
Join them, then
get it? Them. That's a joke, son. You get it?
Yeah, man. It's just a bunch of dudes in the parking lot with their hands in their pockets, and they just got parking.
There you
go. I love that. You see a bunch of sketchy people in their cars and like an adult bookstore, and then like 4 dudes with like sabers and staffs and shit smoking weed, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Me, bro. Come at me, bro. Oh, no, don't come at me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're LARPing.
I didn't. Bad choice of words. Sorry.
We're role playing. Leave us alone.
Sounds like Joshi's police report.
Yeah, you definitely don't want them to come at you.
It's still infinitely safer than Florida. You know what's a shame? I miss going to New York, and I will not go to New York alone current day New York as I see it. It sounds fun. A lot of people say, they go to karaoke bars. I just never have a crowd to go with, and I will not go alone. I don't feel like any of that risk is worth it.
That's what drinking's for.
It's a shame too, because I don't know if it was just because I was more ignorant to it, but I used to go to New York like pre-COVID a lot, and just I'd go walk around the city. I have disabilities, so it's easy, like a cheap train pass for me. But yeah, I miss New York a lot. Did I ever tell you this? I've been on this show once, so I actually haven't. There was one time, yeah, thanks. There's one time that I bought weed off of one of those online arrangements. What's up, Robert? How you doing? Like, I think you started seeing these pre-COVID where like you'd be on Twitter or Tumblr or Instagram, and there'd be like, oh, follow this link, and if you're local, we'll deliver it to you, or if you're not, we'll ship it to you or whatever. And they'd have like, some of them would have good cards and weed and stuff like that. So I decided once, I would with my friend Robin. So I said, okay, we'll place an order. You had to delivered to New York. So you had to drive, closest one to me was the Bronx. So I drive over to the Bronx with her, and we're sitting in, we pull up to this neighborhood. We're sitting in on this side by the sidewalk in my car. I do the Venmo, and I text them. 5 minutes later, someone turns the corner of the neighborhood. I can't lie about this because it's impossible. The woman version of Deep Throat. Full beige trench coat, hat, sunglasses, walks down the sidewalk with a bag, hands it to me through the car window, and then leaves. The bag had everything I wanted in it, plus business cards and stickers. It was one of the most legit black market operations I've ever seen in my life, and one of the most crazy experiences I've ever had buying weed ever.
Welcome, boss man. Rob, how are you?
What's going on?
I heard you have an announcement for us.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know those rude comments that you made last week, Lefty?
Which ones? I always make
All of them. Well, the town of Woodbridge is all upset with you now.
Yeah.
And whatever. They gave us our CO today, so.
Yeah. Got your CO today.
Yes. So we will officially be able to say we will open probably the first or second week of 2025.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. That's incredible. I'm over the moon for you guys. This is really cool.
I think everybody's in for a little bit of an experience.
I hope you guys incorporate me on this wild. Oh my God, a dog! Look at that baby. Sorry, that's my autism there. But yeah, no, it sounds like an awesome wild ride, guys.
You see, even today, I'm being so nice. Nobody ever really gets to meet the mascot of Mad Hatter, but Taco is here right now. So hold on. Come on, Taco.
Oh my God!
Look at that.
Oh man! If you bring him to the dispensary, I'll stop by.
Baby.
You throw a leash on that guy and bring him to the dispensary, I'll stop by.
I think there might be issues with that. My dad used to have a raccoon when he was a kid. He used to tell me about that all the time. That's really cool.
I mean, I have him and like his 7 brothers that come around every single night. So
and what's his name?
That one's Taco.
Taco.
Oh.
He has a mohawk. He has a mohawk down his back, so I thought he looked like a vagina, so I named him Taco.
So tell me, so how'd you meet Taco?
Taco is, oh my God, Avita and Arturo Fuentes' daughter, and Taco has a brother named Paco, And then there's a whole group of other raccoons that come by. I don't know. It's like somebody said, just come to the door. He gives you candy. As long as it's not little girls, I'm fine with it.
I just instantly went to there's this one bit in American Dad, and they have like similar sounding names. It's like, yeah, we got Ooper, Duper, Booper, and Ozamentes. I was like, what? It's that one last name at the end that just throws it off completely off the pattern.
I had a bunch of cats and stuff growing up, and I named them after racetracks. I ran out of cats.
So I just taco.
So I was like, okay, I got to go to food or something. So but hey, listen, you guys are always welcome in the dispensary. That's why, even though, come on, Lefty, do you realize it's like 2 years ago almost where I bumped into you at that stupid convention where you swore that the girl tied up you had nothing to do with?
What?
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 Do you remember that, Lefty?
No. What?
And I said to you, do you want to be on a podcast?
I'm gonna scream. That's really funny. I mean,
you don't remember interviewing the guy dressed in all black from head to toe. He looked like a 6'4" black Oompa Loompa with a sign, "Kick me in my nuts for $10." You don't remember that guy?
Sue left.
Sue's tapped out.
That's really funny. That's really
but
funny.
literally, Lefty, it's like 2 years. Do you believe that?
2 years, man. Amazing. Wow.
And Lefty, can you believe it's been 2 months since I saw you at the 420 Expo and declared Timeless was going to be the best vape in New Jersey, and then they were declared the winner the day after.
Yes.
It's not much of a follow-up to 2 years, but it's the best relation I could do. Robert, if you ever need any content creation or video editing or anything of the sort for the dispensary and the like, you please let me know and keep me in the loop.
Well, our podcast person is Lefty, so he's taking care of all the creative media.
Yeah, you're involved. You're in, Bucket Man. You're in.
Wow, yeah.
Is this going to be? I was thinking about this last night, Lefty. You ever see the opening scene of Jackass 3?
Wait,
where they're the one where they're in a huge shopping cart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I feel like the opening is going to be of Mad Hatter. Lefty's going to be dildoed out on his scooter, followed by a smoke machine, and Andrew coming, stroke victim. Then we have Jimmy, and then there's me and Mario and Frankie the Fist, not because he beats you with his fist, because he can put his fist in your orifice. It's
Oh my God.
That's good.
I mean, Lefty, can you just see this?
And all while Ave Maria slowly plays in the background.
No, roll it. No, Lefty's song. Roll it.
Oh, I thought it was classical music.
Hey, Lefty.
Yep.
Can we do a bit where we jack you up on your rascal and we put cinder blocks underneath and steal your wheels?
I have 3 wheelchairs now, so yeah, probably.
A giant fist in the office.
Oh.
Or a giant open hand in the office that will slap people.
Yeah, we have a big hand, but I don't want to know where it's been slapping. The other thing is we also started something called the Weed Tank. And the Weed Tank is what we want to use at Mad Hatter as kind of like the Shark Tank. Okay, where we can review people's ideas and products and if there's something that worthwhile, talk about using our resources to either produce it or find some way that we can all make money off of it.
Love that. Call it the dank thing.
My friend does that up on North Jersey. He does a similar idea. It's called a business idea night. And he
No,
has
I'm
people
not
come up with
talking.
it.
No, I'm talking about if you can find a way to smoke a potato and have an alarm clock, that's like shit I want to see. You know, like it not, I don't want incubator. I want things from people like Bong of the Week Award. Okay. Hey, Lefty, should I show them what I call a bong?
He wants
Yes.
he wants the Shark Tank of people who are the MacGyvers of weed, and like the ones that you see in like movies and shit like that, who will like innovate a bong out of like things you find around the house.
Okay, listen, I don't know where you kids are from, but where I grew up, you either do it the right way or you just don't fucking do it. So here's the one that I made for the store.
I love it.
You know, I like collecting art, to be honest.
That's crazy.
So it goes over your head, and for safety reasons, does have LED lighting in case you get caught in the parking lot by accident, which at our location is a serious problem.
Yeah.
See? It lights
love
up.
That's awesome.
But that's the shit that we want to see at Mad Hatter. You know? Who?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this really intricate glass bong. No, aren't we smoking weed? Aren't we supposed to be having fun? Okay. Isn't this what we all fought for a degree? Medical side, yes. Recreational side, yes. But without the rec side, you know, it's better for the medical side.
So you're looking for you're not looking for showmanship as far as the product. You're looking for interesting functionality.
Yeah, ingenuity. You know, I had the pleasure of meeting the guys from Jewel, okay, and meeting other guys and other, you know, let's just call them business owners. And you know, it's always innovation that a business has to be afraid of. So why not make a platform for the innovation? Shit, we as an industry can't even talk to each other without getting into a fist fight. Okay, you know, we're at an infancy, so why don't we start where? Why don't we have everybody tell us what they're looking for instead of us trying to figure and interpret what we think they want?
Okay, no plastic.
Yeah, I
No
don't
plastic.
think plastic would be the final model. I think that's a rough model he's worked together there. I think if anything, he'd probably he'd aspire for more of a durable model than that. But yeah.
And by the way, all of those parts that were needed were printed out right here at Mad Hatter Labs. And they're all made out of ABS plastic, by the way, that burns at 300 degrees. So you can smoke out of it because the lighter only goes up to 150.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No, I think you've got a lot of great prospects set up for this. I'm very excited for the Mad Hatter. I'm very excited to, I guess, be part of this whole media incursion. And this is it's exciting news for you guys. This is really cool.
There is, you know, as much as I don't, not say don't show so support, because that's not the case, but as much as I don't show my face, okay, every story I hear here, every story Lefty tells me, it ends up in a public forum in some way, shape, or form. Like your story with your wife comes up with me all the time. You know, and I say, I don't understand why we can't have home grow. Should we be so fucking afraid of it? No, we should embrace it, you know? You know, Mad Hatter is here for you guys, you know? So why not take it all the way? Why stop halfway? We already did all the heavy lifting. Okay. And now it's time for everyone else.
Agreed. I love the attitude. I think I've said it now. I've said it over and over again that togetherness, being together in this climate right now, it's the best weapon we have to getting through all this. So yeah, I think coming together is the right attitude. 100%.
I don't want to interrupt you, but Lefty's going into the parking lot. He's either going to run, stop, or he's going to get lucky. Okay, and wait, here we go.
I like it. I like the usual argument because people, as a bartender, people come to, come to me and say,
"Oh, there's one on your left."
Remind me of Eddie Murphy on that special where he comes out in the jumpsuit and looking at the front. Then he jumps around looking. Oh, look at my! He didn't know how to stand. It's like I told Lefty, man, back to the wall.
But did you know? You know what's funny? Do you know Eddie Murphy's daughter is engaged to Martin Lawrence's son?
Oh.
Yeah, like I just found that out yesterday. But it was listen, always a pleasure, everyone, but I have to hop. I'm already 5 minutes late for something else.
Rob, thank you for sharing the good news. And yeah, excited for the prospect.
Yes, and listen, Mad Hatter is all about you guys. The more we know, the better we are.
Let's break the stigma and educate people.
Perfect. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.
Yeah, Rob, take it easy, man.
I'd always say as a bud tender because I'd have people tell me, oh, I still deal with, paranoia and things like that. And I'd say to them, why? It's legal. You don't got to worry about the police coming up on you and whatnot. And then I'd say, well, except for my friend Lefty. He smokes in a parking lot with some sketchy character. He has every reason to be paranoid.
Cold out there.
Yeah, I haven't been a fan of the steep downtick in temperature. Like usually, yes, it's December. It's going to get cold. Usually we have more of a lifeline getting into mid-December before it gets this cold. But it's unusual times. You are loud and vocal. Come here. Oh, the baby.
Let's see. Didn't doctors recommend smoking cigarettes? They were healthy. Yes. 4 out of 5 doctors recommended Lucky Strikes.
Yeah, I always love the argument that people have said brought up about I love that. Yes, there.
Glass only.
The health benefits of smoking cigarettes. I've even heard oh, if you're tall, if you're abnormally tall at a young age, you smoke, it'll stunt your growth. I'm like, what? Just be tall. It's much less of a health risk. I thought that was a condom.
You cannot 3D print art like this.
No, you cannot. Glass blowing is a totally different beast altogether. I will say that. That's incredible. I've seen glass blowing. There's absolutely value to putting an artistic spin on that. There have been things that I've seen. I definitely appreciate the artistic value, but don't think it's necessary. Like I remember seeing this Instagram reel of a PC, some sort of anime or convention or something, and they had a corner for custom built PCs. One was shaped like a shark. I don't know. Just seems like something you'd want to prioritize function over looking like a shark. But
oh yeah, no, this heady boy functions. I mean, it's got its own dab tool built in.
I love that. Hope it goes in his little hand.
So yeah, the staff and the scepter, and he's got a sweet ass egg, in his hand. Like I said, smokable art you cannot replicate. Ingenuity or not, this is ingenuity. It took somebody well over a month to probably create the prep for this and then assemble it.
Absolutely, it's a pretty cool bong.
Thanks,
what?
It's fancy.
You know me and my glass. I like my glass things.
Here, I like my glass too, but I'm more of a fan of my pieces. My favorite being, if I can find it. We've all seen the Men in Black, right? This is the neuralizer.
Oh,
It
wow.
has 6 chambers that you can pack. I call it the neuralizer because you're definitely not going to remember anything after you're done using it. Hamilton Devices makes really awesome pieces and cartridge mods. Love them. But yeah, I think if any industry you can depend on finding innovative products, it's the cannabis industry, hands down.
For sure. Potheads are innovators.
It's a necessity because for so many reasons, let alone like just at the core value of us being innovators altogether, but like there's anime lovers within the cannabis community, and they love a bit of showmanship. Music industry people, they love a bit of showmanship with their weed. It's so many different lines appreciate it. That's gonna be my closing line though, because I got to get on with the rest of my night. Guys, it's been a pleasure being on tonight. I really appreciate being able to come on, talk with you guys, talk with Rich, talk with Jim and everyone, and Paco and Lefty. So Mad Hatter's opening up. That's going to be really cool. I'm really excited for you guys. Congratulations again. I'm very excited to have that as a prospect to work on with you guys. And you guys have a good rest of your night. And I will try to see you next week.
All right, man.
Have a good night, man.
Out of here too. I'm gonna go take care of the kitty cats.
Yeah, you just saw mine just ran off. So. All right, guys. Catch you later.
Thanks, guys. That was a good one.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
You guys are the best. See you Thursday.
Well, I don't know about the best, but we're right up there.
Thursday,
We're
420.
Right up there, always have to have aspirations to even be higher. I mean, I don't mean intoxicated higher. Uplifted higher.
I tell you what, I've never been this high at a council meeting. Like the return on the work that we put in. Wow, I never had a viral thing like where Ted Cruz was.
You got some doors open now.
Woo!
Thing is, what it took to get the doors open, it doesn't take as much of that now that you have like a foot in the door and they're backtracking and coming up with stuff, because you're obviously right to almost anybody that reads that. The only possible thing that could, I don't want to slow anything down, but it's you don't want to have to use more of what you got than you need to at certain other times once the door opens. All bets are off to break that barrier down. But holy crap, once you get the exposure you got now, the only thing that they got is to cast dispersions upon your character. So like it takes more character to open the door than to kick ass once it's open. I don't know how else to say it. It's perception is what it is. But that's like, and I knew it when it said, "Are you telling me that you guys got a copy of the Constitution and the flag?" And I'm watching him, a guy doing lawyer speak, and I'm like, well, he's got to be a lawyer. I mean, he even looks through papers like a lawyer looks through papers when he's looking for something, keeping the conversation going and looking up and getting. I really, really appreciated that, but I knew it was game right then. You guys aren't going away, and this is why I started saying. So, what is it now that you want? And you're like, want to resign? Okay,
resign or else.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of like he closed a lot of doors already. Yeah, that's not an unreasonable demand / request, whatever. So yeah, good on that. That's And don't think that, however, I would think easier now deal with other municipalities with this under your belt, because if they're not aware of it, you make them aware of it in your initial dealings. Like, here we are. It's already. Do you want national exposure, or should we treat you lightly? I mean, hey, you got that is a big thing on the resume. That's sort of the equivalent of you being referenced on CNN when they got a I guess video of
Oh, Chris Christie video. That's right.
yeah. It was that kind of thing. Latched on. It ran. It's all God bless America and the flag. I mean, no, but it's several third rails, and man, they just like what was I saying before? It's like you set them up with that, with a scheme right on par with, hey, your shoe's untied. And they went for it. They went for it. They walked right into the American flag and the Constitution and said, but you held them up too high or something.
Well, we
Okay,
embarrassed
that's it.
Bongholio, embarrassed him. I embarrassed him. Pat Duff embarrassed him. We all embarrassed him. Christo embarrassed him. And they made rules to keep us from doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work.
Yeah, but they got to know the whole. They've never really been in a tug of war with the mud pit. They're going in the mud. They're already in the mud. That if you don't let go of the rope in a tug of war, when you've actually been dragged into the mud in any tug of war, that's when you let go of the rope. But they're like, hold on, you can drag them right through it.
You're in the mud, bro. Let go. Let go.
Everybody needs a whipping boy to point out to.
But see, now it's going to be the Bible. They're going to say, okay, flags are okay. And I'll be like, okay, I have a flag right here.
Oh,
this is not an American flag, but it's a flag.
Well, listen, if you quoted the Bible and took out a pocket version of the Bible and quoted it, that's going to be a prop. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Lefty. You're the guy for that job.
Well, there we go. They're going to arrest me for the Bible then.
Yeah, but you got to pick out some really cool quotes, Something from Deuteronomy. I don't know. I just like saying Deuteronomy. I have no idea what it's about. It's a pretty fun sounding name. Oh, one thing I just want to run by real quick. If I started looking back through some of the Thursday night podcasts, I think it would be really nice, and I'm willing to go through them and segment out certain little 90 seconds, a minute and a half from the best of a couple of segments from the guests that you've had on, so that you can then put them together somewhere.
Yeah,
and then when you want to induce somebody to be on the show, rather than them left to their own devices to search it out, you include that with snippets of some fairly high profile people.
Yeah, I need a sizzle reel, so yeah, I'll make a sizzle reel.
Yeah, but I'm good for looking through and say, because there's always some sections that really stand out, and it's the short interest thing, and you just want to get people interested. Like if I wanted to say to anybody, hey, I think I'd really like for you to come on the podcast. It would be nice to have something to show. They can find all the warts and the shit later. You come with plenty of them, even on a good day. But I got to tell you what, too, about that guy, Matt Rife. And I sent you a thing to watch. But seriously, he does some of the best stuff about, he's saying, listen, he knows that the people who are trans, he couldn't imagine their life just horrible, what it's like, and he says, but as far as being the worst thing that could happen, no, so he goes, who's got it worse, and nobody ever talks about this? Wheelchair people in wheelchairs. And then he goes on to explain how they're always there at his comedy shows. He sees wheelchairs there, but what happens is not doing good jokes because you are sensitive to them being there, people in wheelchairs are aware of that, aware that the people nearest them are laughing the least at certain jokes, and they're aware. And I know this from all my time with Cheryl. This is so fucking true, But he put it in words. This rising up coming comic of the decade, and he's a great story. But the thing is, I'm looking at him and thinking he's the kind of guy who would freak out about what you do for people in wheelchairs. So there's like a blend of you and your eccentricities and him and his story, which is like really fucking amazing. I mean, everything about it. So anyway, that's where I started thinking it'd be nice to say, now that he's a shooting star, I mean, think about it, 14 months before selling 600,000 tickets for a tour, like selling out, breaking whatever service it is that sells tickets. 14 months before that, he was ready to give it up because it wasn't paying the bills, after being a comic from 15 through 25 years old and all. But anyway, it's he's more controlled now and all, but yeah, he would be great to have on, and not because he's a funny guy. It's because you guys overlap right there, real big time. But when he says, he realized one time out of his peripheral vision, there was a wheelchair, off front row, off to the side, and he realized he had the unique opportunity after doing his set to asking, does this offend you in some way or anything? I mean, why? And he said this because he saw she was laughing her ass off the whole time, And she said, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, and then he said, she wanted to thank him for including her, and that, I went through that with Cheryl. He nailed it. He really did, So what you do now, well, people in wheelchairs is this intersection, and you're sitting in the middle of it right now. You're a good story to him. And guys like that have time if they're, to spend 15 minutes on a Thursday night with you. So I'd like to try to put that together. I'm talking about over what time it takes, but it's sort of interesting. I think, you could be one little break away from becoming a lot more in the public domain than you are. I mean, look at how it blew that guy's mind on Thanksgiving, finding out who you were. And you got El Rapador and Bong Holio right here, and then a full explanation to somebody that had no idea. I've never seen anybody, you got badass. You guys are bad. Like totally under radar. But anyway, there's been a string of Thursdays that were really always had good moments. It's like one of our twice a month band practices. Man, we'll forget words. We'll plow through some really funny mistakes, but there's always something good in each song that reaches the height, So it can always put together a mashup of like 45 seconds, great stuff here and there. And anyway, that leads me to believe that with I remembering how I felt at the close of each, that was a good one. And next week goes, man, that was a good one. So, but it takes time, and you don't have time, and I got to spend more time doing certain things. I want to put that on my list then. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got dinner going too.
All right, gentlemen. I'll see you Thursday. See you all Thursday for the podcast. And I guess have a great week.
Have a great week, boys.